Tonight on China Uncut, from shocking protests on American soil with hidden ties to the Chinese Communist Party to China's economic engine stalling under the weight of its own contradictions, then a rare rebellion in Xi Jinping's hometown calls for his removal. And finally, the darkest revelation yet, a former military doctor claims a Chinese baby was killed to save a CCP official. This is the episode the CCP doesn't want you to see. Stay with us. A bombshell investigation has uncovered ties between Chinese American organizations leading anti-ICE protests and the Chinese Communist Party's intelligence network. The protests, branded under the No Kings movement, are sparking national debate. Here's the story. According to the Daily Caller News Foundation, the Asian Americans for Progressive America, or AAPA, a California-based political action committee, is organizing nationwide protests against immigration and customs enforcement, or ICE operations. These protests, including a major event in Oakland, California on June 14th, oppose the Trump administration's deportation efforts. The investigation reveals that AAP's president, Elaine Peng, also serves as a director for the United Chinese Americans, or UCA, a Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit. UCA's mental health program, WAVES, has received nearly $370,000 in U.S. government funding. But here's where it gets alarming. Reports from Chinese state media and government sources indicate that several UCA executives have previously held roles in the Chinese government, the Communist Party, or Beijing's intelligence operations. At least a dozen UCA members, including its founding advisory board, have ties to the CCP's military intelligence and the Ministry of State Security. UCA's chair, Haipei Xu, denies any connection to the Chinese government, insisting the group operates legally and serves U.S. interests. However, critics, including national security expert Dr. Lawrence Zeng, argue UCA's actions align with Beijing's agenda. Zeng said, "It is an indisputable fact that China, through its proxies, has been trying to acquire property near U.S. military bases and critical infrastructure. It was thus necessary for UCA to frame opposition to those state laws as Asian discrimination." UCA and AAPA have also protested Texas and Florida laws like HB 17 and SB 1, which restrict land purchases by citizens from countries like China to protect U.S. military sites. These groups, alongside 71 others, called the laws discriminatory, echoing statements from China's embassy in Washington published in the Washington Post. The investigation raises serious questions about foreign influence in U.S. protests and national security. Neither AAPA nor Elaine Peng responded to requests for comment. China's central bank reports a steep drop in loan growth for May, raising alarms about the nation's economic health. According to the People's Bank of China, new loans in May totaled just about $87 billion, falling far short of the expected $119 billion. That makes it the second lowest loan figure this year. Even with recent interest rate cuts and looser reserve requirements, credit demand remains weak. Total social financing in May reached $320.6 billion, again below forecasts. Most of the new credit continues to flow into state-owned enterprises, while private firms are largely left behind. Breaking it down, corporate loans dropped significantly from $93.8 billion in April to just $74.2 billion in May. Short-term household loans even contracted for the second month in a row, signaling sluggish consumer confidence. What's more alarming is that over 90% of new loans from January to May went to businesses, yet demand continues to fall, especially after the US-China tariff tensions reignited in April. Analysts say the heavy reliance on government bond issuance, making up 2/3 of May's total financing, is masking a deep-rooted problem. Real economic activity isn't picking up, and private enterprises, which generate over 60% of China's GDP, still face higher borrowing costs and limited access to credit. Despite official pledges to boost private financing, the numbers tell a different story. Without structural reforms, China's financial support may end up propping up the state sector while the private economy continues to suffocate. In a rare and daring act of defiance, over 550 petitioners from Xi Jinping's home province of Shanxi have submitted a public letter accusing the CCP's top leader of widespread injustice and political fraud. The letter is addressed not to Xi but to former leaders Hu Jintao and Wang Yang, a move analysts say signals deep discontent from within the system. The petitioners say that under Xi's leadership, China has seen a surge in wrongful convictions and brutal suppression of whistleblowers, despite public slogans about the rule of law and anti-corruption. In their words, visiting petition offices in China is like walking the road to hell. The letter also questions Xi's motives in dismantling luxury villas in the Qinling Mountains, suggesting it had more to do with superstition over dragon vans than genuine reform. The move comes amid widespread rumors of Xi losing power, with political analysts saying this unprecedented petition could mark a turning point. One commentator said this type of letter aimed directly at retired elites could only happen when internal power struggles become uncontainable. Sources close to the matter claim Xi may have lost real control as early as last year. While he remains on stage, others like former Premier Wen Jiabao and General Zhang Yuxia are now shaping policy behind the scenes. As whispers of regime change ripple through China's political and social circles, observers warn that unless the country breaks free from the Communist Party system itself, no new leader alone will fix its core problems. A former Chinese military doctor has revealed a chilling truth about the Chinese Communist Party's organ harvesting atrocities. We warn viewers, this story contains disturbing details. Dr. Zeng, a former pediatrician at a Chinese military hospital, is in Taiwan urging lawmakers to pass the Anti-Organ Harvesting Act. He claims CCP hospitals extract liver tissue fluid from newborns to extend the lives of party officials, killing the infants in the process. Dr. Zeng said they draw liver fluid from a newborn with a syringe, inject it into an official's liver, and the baby dies. The death certificate is prepared in advance. Zeng attended screenings of state organs, a documentary exposing the CCP's systematic organ harvesting from Falun Gong prisoners since 1999. The film, shown across Taiwan, details mass incarceration, torture, and killing on demand for organ transplants. Zeng warns that healthy individuals in China, even without enemies, risk being disappeared if their blood type matches a buyer's. He calls the CCP a criminal syndicate and urges global action to stop this state-sponsored horror. Dr. Zeng hopes his testimony will spur international laws to end these crimes against humanity. Stay tuned for more updates. As the CCP's global influence spreads from manipulating protests abroad to silencing dissent at home, more cracks are showing in the wall of censorship. But some voices, like Dr. Zeng's or those brave petitioners in Shanxi, refuse to be silenced. Thank you for watching China Uncut. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear what's really happening behind the headlines. See you next time.